Not yet. Can't see it yet.
All right, give me a moment. Let me fix that.
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can now.
All right. Let me just put this on slideshow. All right, I think we're good to go now. Okay, so welcome to Labs by Bincom Dev Center. What's Labs by Bincom? Basically, it's a 3 to 6 months program where we bring participants like you to build a digital technology product, which will be used by people. All right, so you're not building something that is vague. You're not building something that would not be tested. You're building a real life digital technology product. Now, this is a pre-incubator program, not an incubator program. This is a pre-incubator program designed to help you build ideas into minimum viable products that people would find useful, that would solve a problem. Emphasis on solve a problem. Now, I want you to take two things out of what I just said now. Number one, a digital technology product. That's what you're building. And number two, that solves a problem. It is important to solve a problem. Now, the theme of this year's labs, this Cohort Labs by Bincom, is solving the world's problem one startup at a time. All right, solving the world's problem one startup at a time. So meaning this at Labs by Bincom, whatever product you'll be developing needs to solve a problem. Needs to solve a problem, not just in Africa, but all over the world. All right, continuing with that, what is in for you? From the video, I believe many of us would have watched while registering for this program. One of the advantages here is for IT students. If you're an IT student, it's an opportunity for an IT placement. If you're a working class and you want to add more experience to your CV, we can stand in as a referral for you. All right, you can include it as a job experience, right, for yourself. There's also an opportunity to learn demand skill. If you are a techie already, this is an opportunity to develop your portfolio with a project that people can see, people can refer to. All right. So who should join? I mean, fresh graduates, NYSC members, freelancers, tech professionals, anybody wanting to transition into tech, this is the right place for you. All right, so these are the knowledge tracks that will be needed. All right, now, before I move on, all right, now, what we do in labs is that we divide the cohort into teams, depending on the number of attendees. We divide you into teams, and as a team, you build a product. Now, it is not an individual journey in building the product. So we don't expect you to come through the preliminary session, and after you just go up and bring up your idea and decide to build on your own. No, it is a team project. You have to work with your teammates. And in every group, we would have various kind of skill sets. As you can see from the conversation so far, or the introduction so far, we have back-end developers, we have front-end developers, we have designers, and the likes. We have data scientists. So there's a combination of different learning tracks or knowledge tracks in a single team. All right. So you might not have a learning track that would have 3 or 4 digital marketers or 3 or 4 backend developers. No, we will split it across various teams. All right. So it is important you understand that it is a team project. However, there's the individual journey aspect of Labs by Bincom. This is where this comes in. But before I get into that, let's talk about the team. All right, so each team has 3, not less than 3 active members at a single time, and nothing more than 10 members at a single time. Trust me, the team can grow while you are in the program. You can bring new people on board into your team. For example, you need a UI UX developer or you need a digital marketer in your team to promote your product, you can always bring in volunteers to join your team. All right. Details of that will be shared when you get to the onboarding stage. All right. So there are 4 stages to Labs by Bincom. This is the first stage, which is the preliminary stage. Then the second stage, which is stage 1, or let me rephrase that. It's not the second stage, it's the next stage, which is stage 1. So this is a preliminary stage. Then we move to stage 1 after this. All right, that is where you'll be divided into the teams you'll be working with for the next 3 to 6 months. All right, now we believe that within 3 to 6 months, you should have built your product, tested the product, and sent the product to market within these 3 to 6 months. All right, it's important you have that at the back of your mind. Now, there are different stages that you can see here. We have the onboarding stage, which is stage 1, where you'll be coming on board, you'll be working on your product documents. Stage 2, you'll be working on project execution. All right, so you'll be building your product, your minimum viable product. And stage 3, you'll be testing this product. You get people to use your product, let them give you feedback. And if you have improvements to make on your product, you can then make it on your product, depending on the feedback you are giving. Now, in Labs by Bincom, we try as much as possible to ensure that every participant is committed in his or her team. All right. Though we have had issues where participants are not interested and they leave, which is fine. I mean, it is fine by us, but we would like to know so that we can excuse you from your team in time, so that you do not draw your team back. Now, there are some expectations of you. All right. So we have some of them here. At least you should be able to devote 8 hours a week. That's a minimum of 1 hour plus a week. And these hours will be spent in relating with your team, meeting together. Then when you get to product development stage, or if you're a UI UX designer, we expect you spend time to design. So we're not like a situation where your team is waiting for you for 2-3 weeks to come up with a UX design for the website you are building, or your team is waiting for weeks and you are not responding to them. Once we note that and we flag it, it is an opportunity, or is an avenue to leave Labs by Bincom. So please work with your team members. If you have, for whatever reason, you need to take a break, maybe you have a lot of commitments at that time, please inform your team and inform us also. It is very, very, very important. All right, so I'll quickly skip all this. Details of this will be discussed during the preliminary session. Okay. All right, so let me quickly move to this. This is very, very important. Sorry, give me a moment. All right, so there's something on my screen I would like somebody to read. It is in red and is at the bottom of my screen. Will anybody volunteer to read it?
Yes, I can do that.
Okay, yeah.
So this says, do not invest in any idea you do not wish to be in the public domain in the lab by Bincom company.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that. Please do not invest in an idea you hold dear. Probably it's a baby idea that you have been thinking from your childhood. Oh, I want to change the world. I want to take over the world. All right. And this is the idea I want to use in taking over the world. And it is so dear to you. It's a baby idea to you. Please don't bring it to Labs by Bincom, because your ideas will be in public domain. Your teammates can decide to pick your idea and steal it. We have no control over that, but we believe that we have bright minds. We have honest people. Yeah, don't steal your team's idea and go develop it on your own. All right, work in Labs by Bincom with your teammates, but have it at the back of your mind that your idea will be in public domain. It is important you note that. And I forgot to mention, sorry, give me a moment. All right, so your product will be in public domain. All right, and it is important that your codes are also in public domain on GitHub. Your codes should be uploaded on GitHub. All right, it is important you do that. Now, we are encouraging you to build. If it's not an encouragement, it's compulsory you build a product-led digital technology startup. Now, if you have an idea of building a brick and mortar bank and call it a startup, that idea is not welcome in Labs by Bincom. All right, we expect you to build a product anybody in the world can use. Anybody in the world can use. I'm sure a lot of us use Zoom. You don't need to go to Zoom's office physically before you can get to use Zoom. All right. I'm sure most of us use Canva. You don't need to go to Canva's head office, wherever it is, to say, oh, I want to buy Canva. All right. Those are the kind of innovations we want in Labs by Bincom. All right. Something, a product anybody in Nigeria or all over the world can use, all right, to improve their work, their life, or luxury, whichever way it comes. All right. So high level, I'll quickly skip all this so that we can quickly move to the next stage of today's event. What we expect from you, I already spoke about that. Weekly commitment, at least 8 hours on your team, right? Be available for meetings, be available to carry out responsibilities. Work with fellow participants, work with your mentor. Now, this is where I come in with this. Each team will be allotted a mentor, right? Each team will be allotted a mentor that would guide you. Now, who are these mentors? A mentor is a well-knowledgeable person in the field of startup building and tech in general. All right. We have a host of mentors in our portfolio that would be matched with each team at the right time. All right. So there are steps to that you get to know on your during onboarding. All right. So each team will be matched with a mentor that would guide you as you build your startup. All right. They are knowledgeable experts and they have experience in startup building. Okay, what you should expect from us: provide a platform where you can practicalize your skill sets, collaborate with your career tracks, and be exposed to quality mentorship. Now, we do not expect, we don't have a location where we expect you to come and have your meetings. We expect that everything you'll be doing will be virtual. Your online meetings, whatever you are building, will be virtual. However, if you guys decide, probably you peradventure live in the same locality and decide to have a meetup physically, that's fine. We don't have a problem with that. But officially, from our end, we will not be providing a location for any meeting in Labs by Bincom. We expect everything to happen virtually, even the meetings with your mentor. All right, so I already spoke about the different stages. Details of that will be done in your onboarding session. A cross-functional team, you have different skill sets in your team, and we expect you to work together as a team. I already spoke about cohort mentor. Participation tracking. Yeah. Now, I told you this is a team journey. However, there's the individual journey aspect of it. Now, we have a curriculum for Labs by Bincom that is compulsory for every participant of Labs by Bincom to go through the curriculum. Excuse me. During the onboarding session, you get the link to the curriculum so that you can start taking the training courses. It is the Tech Nation Digital Academic course. And we expect a report feedback once a week, at least once a week from each participant. Now, this is not a team work. This is an individual work. All right. So we don't expect a situation where you are waiting for your other team members to tell you what to do. You are given the link, you register, the cost is free, you start taking it one video at a time. And on a weekly basis, you send a report on Slack to say, okay, this is what I have worked on so far. This is what I'll be doing next week, and this is what I have learned. All right, so it is important you take your personal journey seriously in Labs by Bincom. We have various metrics we use in tracking participants. Number one is the individual course I just talked about, right? If you are taking it or not. Number two is your contribution to the team. If you find out that you are not contributing to your team, you do not attend meetings, and you do not respond to messages from your team members, and you did not give them a valid reason for not responding, neither did you inform us of any break you will be having, that is a reason for us to kick you out of Labs by Bincom. All right. Then we'll be relating with your mentors, all right, to know how the team is faring and what team members are drawing the team back or improving the team or attending meeting as a whole. It is important, like I said, you devote at least 8 hours a week to Labs by Bincom. All right. So I want to emphasize on this thing. Nothing good comes easy. All right. Everybody is busy. You all have your personal schedule. But when you come to Labs by Bincom, we expect you to make some sacrifices. We expect you to create time because, I mean, at the end of the day, this is an opportunity to build your portfolio. This is an opportunity to build the next AI, right? So we expect you to make some sacrifice in terms of devoting time, all right, and your skill set in building something with your team. Building something with your team. All right. Moving on. All right. Let me just touch on this briefly. All right. We do not expect any team to spend money while building your startup. However, if for any reason, if you have exhausted every free avenue, all right, every free tool you can use online, every free platform you can use in building your startup, if you'll be spending at all, we expect that the team covers the expenses. We at Labs by Bincom will not be covering any expenses whatsoever. We expect your team to cover the expenses, all right, and your expenses should not be more than 100,000 naira or the equivalent in dollars or pounds. It is important you know this. You would not, because we at that stage, all right. We have an incubator program. Can we all still hear me? So that it doesn't look like I'm talking to myself.
Yes, your network closed.
All right, great. Thank you for the response. Now, we have an incubator program, all right, where we funnel Labs by Bincom products into, right, for participants or for any team that is interested in pursuing the product development after Labs by Bincom. However, we would shed more light on that when we get to that bridge. Your focus for now is building a product as a team, at least an MVP that you can push out to the market, then develop on it later on. Okay, moving on. All right, this is the training program I talked about, the curriculum for Labs by Bincom, and you are meant to complete it in 2 months. Emphasis on complete in 2 months. The program is 3 to 6 months. So within the first 2 months, you should have been done, because whatever knowledge you'll be getting from this, we expect you to start implementing them in your startup as a team. We expect you to start implementing them, either marketing, etc. Now, these are some of the things you'll be learning in that curriculum: ideas and products, how to come up with an idea that would make money, how to build a business model, your team members, how to get new team members, company culture, operations and finance, etc. Details of that is in the link that will be shared with you. All right, these are the different stages of the course outline of the curriculum. I will expect each member to go through this, right? And you will get certifications from it. Now, the certifications you get from here, you can put it up on your LinkedIn profile. I mean, it adds to you. That is a value to you. That is a certification of knowledge for you from Technician itself. I mean, that's a whole lot. All right, breakout room, we'll be doing that shortly. Yeah, so let me just undo some of these questions before we move into our breakout room. Our time is fast spent. How long is the program? 3 to 6 months, minimum of 3 months, maximum of 6 months. If you're able to build your product completely in 3 months, fantastic. Then you decide if you want to leave the program with your product, or you want to enter an incubator program, or you just want to leave and go away with the knowledge you have gotten. The choice is yours at that stage. Do I need to be an expert to register? Definitely not. That's why you're here. What if a team member drops out before the end of 3 months? Yeah, that is fine. However, in that case, we expect that you can bring in volunteers. We have a community of techies that you can easily recruit volunteers to join your team. Can I make the startup part of my work experience? Definitely, we're standing as a referee for you. How would the information about my startup be included in my portfolio? Definitely to be included in your portfolio, because it is right there in public domain, right? Either as a website or as an app or a tool, whichever way you build, whatever product you build. What happens after 6 months? I already answered that question. Can Labs by Bincom be regarded as a school internship? Yes, it can, but inform us. I don't know anything about startup building. That is why you're here. Who will fund the projects? You will fund the projects, right? If your team decides to spend a dime. What if we want to spend more than 100,000 naira? Then you would have finished Labs by Bincom and you'll be coming into an incubator program like the Bincom incubator program. How can we upgrade our startup to the incubator level? When you get to that bridge, you'll cross it. All right. that is all for now. So I'll entertain just 2 questions. Just 2 questions. So who is going first? I'm sure there are questions. Who is going first with your question? Any question? I'll be surprised if there are no questions. Can we all still hear me? You can hear me say hi.
Yes, I have a question. And my question is, what are, well, I don't know, maybe that is going to be included in what we'll be learning on the LMS, I guess. So I'm assuming that the ideas for the projects to be developed will be in those learning, or is this something that can be discussed, or maybe like give a clue or an hint of what should we be expecting to be developing as a team? And you said the product, either a software, web, or an app, will be going live after the project has been done. So is it going to be like a formal, is it going to be monetized, like commercialized, or it's just going to be like a free product being designed and to help people? Then at some point it's going to be monetized, or it's just going to be built just for people to use and all that?
All right. That's George, right? George Daniel.
Yes, please.
Okay, all right, fantastic. All right. Let me start with your first question. Let me start with the last one. The product will be going live. So what is it going to be monetized or not? All right. So we expect that the product you'll be building should be solving a problem, right? And every problem you solve, if people find value in your product, meaning your product solves their problem, they should be able to pay for it. So even at this stage, right, your product idea or your product itself should be able to make money. However, it is not compulsory it makes money now, right? It's not compulsory. It's not a yardstick to define if this product is successful or not, or if you can bring it to labs or not. If it's not making money for now, you plan to make money with it in the nearest future, probably after some free subscriptions by people, all right? Then you start, you maybe you operate a freemium model where there's free for later on after a period of time. There's premium model for a while. Then they added the premium aspect of it. That's fine. This is what comes in last by Bincom. All right. So that has that question. First, yeah, right. Can we all hear me?
Yes, your network seems to be a little bit wonky, I guess. It's kind of not so clear. It's interrupting.
Okay. But can you hear me now?
Yes, fluctuating. Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. So good. All right. So your next question is, you're asking if we'll be giving the ideas. No, we will not be giving you ideas. We expect you guys to come to discuss as a team and come up with bright ideas. All right. Discuss. Now, your ideation or innovation is not something bogus. You don't need to come up with the ideas from aliens or from the other world. Just look around yourself. Look at your daily task as a techie. Look at what you do on a daily basis. Think of how to improve what you do. Look around you, right? Discuss the problems you find. Discuss the problems that are common to you yourself and to people like you. All right. So look at problems around you and find a solution to it. All right. So that is the ideation part of it. We will not be giving you ideas, right? We give you that free will to come up with different ideas, but note, right? It has to be a product-led digital technology startup. All right, not brick and mortar. All right. Okay. Did I answer your question, Daniel?
Yes, you did. And just a follow-up question on what you just explained right now. So if the product is finally, sorry?
I said that's your last question.
I said a follow-up question to what I asked. Based on your explanation, I just wanted to be clear on it, or maybe I should just wait until when we have the
no,
onboarding. Then okay, that's fine. Okay. So my question is, so who is going to own the product at the end of the development? Is it going to be owned by Bincom, or is it going to be owned by the team that actually developed? Is there going to be like a kind of agreement or intellectual property that guides what we're actually going to be doing? Thank you.
All right, fantastic question. Right. So within the 3 to 6 month period, all right, the product is owned by Labs by Bincom. All right, we are not taking the product. What that means, that simply means is that nobody in Labs, you cannot, under Labs by Bincom, go to CSA and say, oh, my name is Jackson or my name is Samuel. I want to register this idea or this product in my name, Jackson Incorporation and Company, and you are still in Labs by Bincom. No, we will not allow that while you're in Labs by Bincom. However, once you are done with Labs by Bincom, all right, you have various of 3 options. The first option, you can decide to enter our incubator program and bring your startup into it. At that point, there will be a conversation, probably a conversation around ownership, percentage, and all that. When you get to that bridge, you solve it. But the product is yours. You are bringing it into Labs. You have gone through Labs at Bincom. You've gotten the skill, you've gotten the experience in startup building, and you feel, oh, this MVP we have built, there's a future for it. Let's take it to the next step. Then you bring it into Labs by Bincom as your startup. Just like we have incubator programs, Y Combinator and the likes, right? You bring it to them, it is your startup. However, you have a conversation and an agreement with them, right? Based on what they will be offering you, all right? At that, though we have our requirements for startups that will enter our incubator program, right? But when we get to that bridge, we'll cross it, all right? Now, the second option is you guys can decide to say, oh, this startup has a future, but we want to take it to another incubator program, let's say Y Combinator. All right, fantastic. All right, you are free to take the startup or the idea to another product, to another incubator program. Then the third option is, oh, you feel I can't continue with this startup, or we can't continue with this startup. We have learned a lot, but we don't feel it's something we want to progress with. Let's end it here. And that's not a program, you end it with Labs by Bincom. Any one of you take the idea of the startup and make something else with it, that is fine. Do you understand now?
Yeah, thank you.
All right. So in Labs by Bincom, during the 3 to 6 months, you cannot own the startup. You cannot say this startup is in my name. All right. So that is basically to ensure that there's coordination and we don't have a situation where within a team, different people are building different startup ideas in a single team. Right. You're working together. For now, Labs by Bincom owns the startup because we don't want anybody putting a name to it and saying it is their own. But after you are done with Labs by Bincom, you can do whatever you wish with your startup idea. Don't worry, we are not stealing your startup idea or your startup. All right. I think one more question? One more question. I think someone was raising his hand earlier on.
Hi, Derek. I got a quick question.
All right, Adijima.
Yeah, you saying someone, I don't know, I just want to clarify, have a proper understanding if I'm understanding you right. You're saying why someone is still with Lab by Bincom, you can have your own personal startup, even if it is not, you're not reporting anything to Lab by Bincom, just doing something on your own side. You can do that, or?
No. All right, so let me answer that question. We do not dive into people's personal life. All right. So that's your personal startup is your personal project, right? You don't need to involve Labs by Bincom. You're allowed to do build whatever startup on the side you want to, all right, while you are in Labs by Bincom. But the issue is, so far, it does not affect your participation in Labs by Bincom, your contribution to your team, your involvement in your team. Because if your other activities, I mean, the activities could be anything. It could be work, could be your side also. It could be your side also. What it is, do not allow it to affect Bincom. If you feel at some point you cannot manage it all, please opt out so that you do not discourage or draw your team back. Did you get that? I hope I was able to answer your question, Adejimo.
Yeah. I got it. Thank you.
All right, fantastic. So I believe all basic questions have been answered. If you still have more questions, you can drop it on Slack. Speaking of Slack, you'll be added to a Slack channel, right? After this call, everybody will be added to a Slack channel, all right, where you can converse. Then the next stage will be announced on that Slack channel, all right, after this call. Before we do that, I'll be dividing us into breakout sessions. So we are done with the first, is the introductory part. We are moving to the second session, where we just have 20 minutes to execute, or less, actually, because our guest speaker will be coming. So now I'll be dividing us into teams now, and the purpose of that is to come up with ideas per team. Come up with ideas, all right? Come up with an idea, right? You guys can throw ideas around, but come up with one idea that you guys feel is product-led and can scale. Come up with that idea. Now, once you come up with that idea, document that idea. Document it, because at the end of today's program, by the end, each team will be presenting an idea. All right, please document it, either in Word document or PowerPoint, whichever one you prefer. All right, let somebody document it and be able to share screen, and you'll be picking somebody to present for your team. All right, so we'll be having the first part of that now before our guest speaker comes in. So I believe this first part is to introduce yourselves, throw around ideas, all right? And if possible, before 5 or before 5:10, you pick up an idea you want to use, right? Then we'll come back, have our session with our facilitator. Then we go back to our breakout room, all right? You document the idea. By 6 o'clock, you are back to present the idea. Was I clear with what I just said?
Yes, clear.
All right, so before we move into that, we have one of our facilitator. Our facilitator is also one of our mentors, right? He's already in our midst. Mr. Wale Ogunlade, can you hear us, sir?
Good afternoon. Yes, I can hear you. And hello to everyone.
Can you hear me, sir? All right, yeah, you are welcome, sir. Mr. Oluwole Ogunlade is the MD and CEO of Wesley MFB Bank, all right? And he's one of our mentors, and is an experienced startup founder and startup builder, and also a product developer, all right? He has mentored some of our teams, all right, in Labs by Bincom, and he would be speaking with us as a facilitator in today's program. So, Mr. Wale, I don't know, are you ready now, or should we still keep to our time? Are you ready for us now?
Let's do that on the dot of 5 p.m.
Oh, all right. So I'll be dividing us all into teams now. Get to know, right? Because by 5 p.m. we'll be back, right? Mr. Ogulade will be ready for us by then. We're back to listen to him and learn from his wealth of knowledge. All right, so I'll be adding us into breakout rooms now. All right, so just get to know each other, and we'll be back in 10 minutes. So once you are assigned to a breakout room, please join immediately. All right, you have all been assigned to a room. Please go to your room. By the dot of 5, we will be back here. So please join your room. You've been assigned to the room. See the pop-up, or you'll be taken to your room automatically. Hi, Joshua. Can you hear me, Joshua? I'm Mr. Wale. The team will be back in about 40 seconds. The breakout rooms have been closed, so they'll be joining in a few seconds now.
That's great. I'm on standby for my session. Thank you.
All right, sir. All right, you're welcome, everyone. I hope you guys have had an opportunity to get to know each other and throw ideas around. All right. To assist also, is this session. This session will be assisting you also as you into the next breakout room to discuss ideas. We have Mr. Oluwole Ogunlade on standby. He's ready to share his wealth of experience in terms of startup building and product development. Welcome, Mr. Wale. We are ready for you, sir.
Thank you so much, Damilare, for the opportunity to, speak to this cohort of the next generation of builders and successful founders. I want to believe it's going to be a short and interesting session. I get into that. I would like to know if I'm able to share my screen. Would that be possible? Okay, so while you're on that for me, it's actually a very short slide I'll be presenting. Let me use the opportunity to learn about those who are in this group. In case I call your name, if it's possible to, unmute and say one or two things. I really like to know my audience a little bit more. Victor, George, and Bayo. These are all guys' name. Do we have any lady in the room, by the way? Any lady? Is Segovi a lady or a guy?
I'm a guy.
Oh, really? Okay, tell me about yourself, Segovi. Maybe one or two things. What's interesting about you?
Yeah, my name is Mustafa Alude. I just transitioned into data science and machine learning. Prior to my transition, I was once a business growth hacker, where I was working in a startup where promoting the business and trying to grow the business from the ground up.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Nice to meet you. Victor, do you want to unmute and say one or two things about yourself?
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, all. Okay. I'm Victor. I work in the bank as an IT business analyst and the project manager. But then I would like to transition into mobile app development, which is one of the reasons why I develop one of the greatest app.
Fantastic. Good to know that about you.
Learning.
Awesome.
Thanks.
George, do you want to tell us about yourself?
Yeah, sure. So good evening, everyone. Daniel George. So I'm an accountant, and I've actually worked as a a compliance and an advisory analyst previously in my job before I moved into, and then a little bit of business analysis, analyst, then now pivoted into IT. So I'm doing something in data analysis currently, and I'm learning through the ropes to really understand. It's actually been my, I'll say, a dream that actually setting up a business. And due to what is going on in the world right now, that everything is being, digitalized after the advent of the the COVID and all that, and making a lot of people to, do a lot of things on the internet, and which brought about the idea of things being done basically on the internet, and the need for every job or every transaction being done basically on the internet, and the need for an IT infusion into anything that you do. So that actually spurred my interest in wanting to be in this team, for me to be able to learn how to build or start a startup company, and also to be able to use that knowledge to apply that into the business idea that I want to launch in the nearest future. Thank you.
Great. Let me take Samuel, and that'll be all for now. Samuel.
Oh, Samuel is a colleague of mine. Is one of the.
Oh, I see. What of Israel?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Israel. I'm a system engineer, also a network administrator. I work with the Lost Chosen, and then I have much experience in building systems and repairing systems. So, but why I venture into startup and this is for me to create my own brand and make my own money.
Right, super cool. Okay, maybe down the line I can get to Bayo and Yusuf. Meanwhile, we have a little time to spend together, and I want you guys to get the best out of it. I'm sharing my screen now. Let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes, you can see us soon.
Okay, good. That's my pretty handsome face. I've changed a lot since I took this picture. But a little about me. As some of you shared, I've been involved in a few companies before now. Some of these range across agri-tech, fintech, and several other innovative ideas in the tech startup space. And I've also worked with a few entrepreneurs to successfully launch their businesses. I say this about myself, I like helping people. And what I'm focusing on right now is to lead the digital launch of a digital bank for a faith-based community. So I'm the managing director of Wesley Microfinance Bank, which is translating from a retail microfinance operations more to providing digital financial services with a focus on faith-based communities. To give some perspective, I have worked with some other companies before now, either as a consultant, a mentor, or providing some level of support. You might be able to recognize some logos here, out of the companies I've worked for. But today, 100% of my attention is building and launching Wesley. And I want to believe that by the time we are fully live, everyone on this call and even way more people, will be using our application in the near future. The topic I've been given to speak on is a very simple one. So I'm starting with this analogy. When Damilare reached out, he wants me to address the topic solving the world's problem, one startup at a time. And I think this is, an interesting conversation that I want to have with all of you. how do we solve the world's problem one startup at a time? That means that we believe that startup is the solution to the world's problem. So maybe we should start with a good definition of what a startup is, right? A startup is like an idea that you have on how to solve the world's problem. But the analogy I'm using today is like a garden. And I want to believe that every one of you have either seen a beautiful garden before, or you've even planted one yourself. And there are three things that really make up a garden. You have the seed that you want to plant in the garden. You also have the soil. And of course, when you plant the seed in the soil, it germinates and you now have a plant. Then you have a garden that you can nurture. So I want you to focus on this analogy as I run through this conversation with you. And that's why I said building a startup is like planting a garden. And because there are three things, I want us to focus on the three things that make up that garden. I said first the seed, but then not just the seed, it has to be the right seed. It has to be the right seed. So if your startup is like a garden, you need seed, the right seed. So the first thing you need to know now is you need to choose the right ideas for your startup. Your ideas are the seed that you are planting in the garden. Now, your ability to select ideas that have potentials to solve real problems and create value to people is very important. Many of us have walked past some gardens and we cannot but take a closer look at how beautiful the garden is. If you're in Lagos, there are some designated gardens that, when you pass by them, you see the beauty of nature. Now, that beauty starts with the seed. And people even go to those gardens to take pictures, feel good about themselves. Now, if the seed does not produce that kind of beauty, nobody is going to stop there at all. But it's not only the seed that make up the garden. You also have the soil, right? And the type of soil can determine how good the garden can be. So it means that when you are a gardener, you need to prepare the soil very well. You need to create the right conditions for the seed to grow. And finally, when your seeds start to grow, you have the plants. You have to nurture the plant. You have to water it. You have to give it enough sunlight. You have to make sure that you provide the nutrients that make the plants to grow. But, our conversation today is about startup. And here I am talking about, a garden. So how does this apply? I'm going to spend a few minutes to break this down, to show how it applies to the idea of startup in a way that we can all relate with it. So when I said your garden starts with choosing the right seed, what I mean is that you need to identify real world problems that need to be solved. If, going by the topic I have, which is solving the world's problem, one startup at a time, you need to choose the right seed. What is the problem you want to solve, right? How many people does this problem address? So you need to identify a real world problem that needs to be solved. And this could be anything. I'm just going to use an example of, a platform that connects people with healthcare provider. So some of you might be interested in issues around healthcare. And you are asking yourself, what is the type of seed that I can sow in this environment? So yours could be a platform that helps healthcare providers to provide help to people that need it remotely. There is something interesting that is going on if you've been following the news. The Nigeria House of Assembly, I believe, is trying to pass a bill to keep doctors in the country after they are done with their schooling. Now, this is a tough one. When I was discussing with someone, if I use my money to pay for my school fees and I graduated out of the university, can the government determine where I should go next or where I should offer my services if I was not on scholarship or there was no provision for that? But what led us to this scenario is that a lot of people are fleeing from the country, taking their services to US, to to Europe and other parts of the world. And if you go to hospitals today, you barely find medical assistance, from professional doctors because many of them are all gone. So how can you take health care to people that need it? That's an idea. And your idea will inform some steps you need to take. Like, how do you validate this idea? How do you convince yourself that this is a problem worth solving, right? You now need to do things like conducting market research. You need to do things like surveying potential customers to understand their needs and pain point. And of course, you also need to analyze if your solution is meeting gaps in the market. So my point here is that your seed is very important if you want to solve real life problems. And in our context, your seed is your idea, the quality of the idea. We are 2 more steps away from planting a beautiful garden. I've spoken about the seed. The next thing I want to talk about is the soil. You need to prepare the soil for your startup to be able to build a strong foundation that includes a supportive environment. A lot of times you are going to start with your skill sets and what you are able to do. But the reality is that it is not just your skill set that will help you to build a successful startup. It's not just your skill set. You need to build a team around yourself. You need to, have other people that can supplement your skill. Now, and I'm going to put it this way, going back to the healthcare startup we are trying to build. How can you prepare the soil? Number one, you need to have the right team. Number two, you need to, maybe look for funding where possible. You need to start thinking of strategic partnership, everything that will make it possible for you to offer that service conveniently to the people that need it. And of course, after you've launched, you now need to start thinking of nurturing the plants. How do I make sure that my head startup or my idea does not fail? You have to be very conscious of, your regulatory environment. You need to get mentorship. You need to get guidance. And good enough, some of you are in this training because you need that type of guidance. And why I have used the idea of launching a startup, to present my idea. Some of you might not even be looking at launching a startup. You literally just want to transition your career to the tech industry because you hear that tech is where the money is. This still applies. The first part is the seed, which is the idea. What do you want to become? When some of you were talking about what you want to transition into, I heard somebody say data analysis. Someone else might be interested in product management. Another person could be thinking of maybe front end or back end engineering. And if you have also been following the trend, AI is booming so big today. And I learned that there is a particular career that is just evolving. They call it prompt engineering, which is a skill set you need to talk to some of these AI tools to produce results. That could be something you want to transition into. This analogy still applies. You need to have the right idea of what you want to transition into. You need to be sure that this career is something that will give you high potential income, both in the immediate and in the future. You also need to be sure that your your the new career you are transitioning into gives you a high leverage to command high salary in the future. Then when we talk about the soil, that is what enabling environment are you providing for yourself to make sure that you are able to become this version of yourself you are thinking of. And I believe that that is why all of you are on this call. Finally, when you are done with your training here, you're done with your internship, what is the next thing? What's your plan to become world class? So that everybody that sees you sees the beauty of what you are able to do. Uh, yeah, great. I'm almost done with my presentation. But I want you to take a look at the picture here. And if you recognize anyone, you can just unmute and say the name of the person you recognize. Is there anyone?
Yes, I do.
Okay, who can you recognize in this picture?
I think 3 guys. I think
Okay,
I
mention
can
their
see
names.
Jeff Bezos.
Okay.
I can see the Iroko guy. I actually don't know his name. Then I can see
Okay.
the Tesla guy. What's his name again?
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk. Yeah, thank you for that.
Jack Ma.
Yeah, those are the ones I could actually. Yes.
Okay, who can recognize 5 people here? 5 people. And
5. Their names.
Yes.
Okay, let me try. We have Jack Ma, Jeff Bezos,
okay.
Elon Musk. These guys from British Star, what's his name? I can't remember.
Okay, you've tried. So when you say Elon Musk, what do you know Elon Musk for?
On SpaceX, and he acquired Twitter as well.
He owns the electric cars as well, and he's also
Tesla.
part of the Open AI. AI as well.
Okay, then Jack Ma.
Alibaba.
Good. Jeff Bezos.
He owns Amazon. Yeah.
So this is the founder of Instagram, the co-founder of Instagram. That is Kevin Systrom. I also have Sarah Blakely.
Yeah,
Sola Akinlade.
Yes, an Ezra Olubi.
Yeah,
Ezra.
Iroko TV is Jason Njoku. And there is someone else on this slide, which could be you. Oh, my presentation moved too fast. How do I go back? Okay. And the last person here could be you or myself. So I want to, just say a few things about this slide. This is going to be literally the last slide. I'm glad some of you could recognize them. So what I want to do here is to connect you to the reason behind their startup, or even tell you a bit about them. So for Jeff Bezos, for example, everybody sees Amazon as the biggest, online platform for everything. It has reached a valuation of more than $1 trillion. But do you know that the vision for Jeff Bezos was really simple? It started with getting people to buy books online, right? So what I want to tell a lot of you in this room is that your vision could start simple, but you can build it from here, from this training program. Some of you might not have even figured out exactly how the rest of your life will look like, how this career path you're trying to choose can mean for you. But you can start with something little that will grow into something big. So Sarah founded Pants, and it's undergarment stuff for women. And the idea is, how can I create something more comfortable, slimmy undergarments that women can use instead of the popular ones? She's not even a techie, and it's not like she's into the production itself. The only skill she's bringing to the table is her innovative product and marketing strategy, right? Today, our company is a big global brand. producing things like leggings, shapewear, and active wears. Now, what I want you to see here is that she has her own unique set of skills, but then she built an ecosystem around her brand. So you don't have to know everything today. You don't have to be an expert at Python. You don't have to figure out everything about all the latest programming language. Just know your unique strength and start with it. The Paystar guys, both Shola and Ezra, fantastic engineers. But look at what they did with Paystar, building it to a successful acquisition of $200 million. That's a lot of money. Today, Shola is doing so many amazing stuff. He owns 2 football clubs now, one in Nigeria and another one in Europe. I hear that Extra has a Tesla. So a little idea of fixing the payment issue that many, I know some of you on this call have you've tried to buy something online powered by Paystack when you need to check out. So when you solve problems that a lot of businesses have, you are going to be rewarded, but you need to give it a start. No one was able to recognize Kevin, the co-founder of Instagram, but it's an interesting story because what this guy started out to do was to build a company very close to Foursquare. So when you visited a place, Foursquare is like a location platform. They call their own Bourbon, right? So when you visited a restaurant or you try to get something online, you can, do something like Foursquare. Unfortunately, the idea wasn't getting traction. But on a closer look, they realized that, hey, more people are tagging their pictures instead of using the rest of the application. And they picked Instagram out of that and they launched with it. Now, the lesson I want to share with some of you on this call is that what you are doing today might look like it's not successful. The career path you have today might look like it's not, giving you the kind of global leadership you want to achieve in life. But when you look closer, you will see something that is working, and you just need to pay attention to that. I have my personal story, but today is not the day to share it. But I feel I should let someone on this call know that you just need to take a closer look at what you're doing. If the entire thing is not working, identify what is working and double down on it. Alibaba, who built, the largest e-commerce platform, business platform in China that is competing with, for example, what Alibaba does, Tmall, what they do in terms of volume in a day on, like their own special day is more than what Amazon is really doing. They also have a cloud business. So Alibaba is doing so well. But Jack Ma that started it was an English teacher. So the question is, how could a random former English teacher build one of the greatest platforms in the world? It got funding from, I think they call his name Matoyoshi. And Matoyoshi was saying about Alibaba that I know that his business idea is not solid, but it sounded convincing. The way he looks at you, he's someone that wants to get his goal. And that was how he received his first funding to launch Alibaba, and made a success out of it. It was very good with sales and marketing. So I'm saying all of this because when you are transitioning into a new career, somebody might feel that I'm going to be a newbie. I don't know anything. But the emphasis I want to share with you is that everything you have learned before you start your journey to this new career path is relevant. So Jack Ma teaching English did not make him a poor tech entrepreneur. Instead, his ability to be a sales champion and a marketing guru helped him to build the business. Now, it's also a similar scenario with Elon Musk, with Jesse Njoku. Everyone started from somewhere trying to build, a tech product that solves real life problems. For example, what Elon Musk is trying to do with Tesla is to ensure that we transition the world to sustainable energy, and is making good at that. What Jason was trying to do with Iroko was to make entertainment more real time to people. People want to enjoy Nollywood content, but that means you have to slot in a CD or buy a cassette back in the days. But it put everything online, starting with YouTube. It increased access to what people already liked before, and it made real money out of it. Today, some of you are either on Iroko TV or Netflix or Amazon Prime. Bottom line of the story is that we love entertainment, but we want to access it real time. I don't want to wait for when my TV channel will show a particular movie. I want to watch it real time. So you can also start to think in terms of what are the ideas that exist today, and how can I make it possible for people to access it easier or faster than they used to be. And if you are thinking about your career, I also want to, welcome you to this narrative. You just simply need to ask yourself, this transition I'm about to make or I'm already making, what is the potential upside? What are the things that I can see, and how can I prepare well for them? So, as I wrap up my session, I want all of you to realize that you have all it takes to succeed already in you. Don't doubt yourself. What you simply need to do is to identify problems worth solving. In case you are looking at building the next billion-dollar companies, or if you are looking at just becoming better in your career in a new field, identify, opportunities that are worthwhile. Some of you might need to go to LinkedIn, for example, and just say, this career that I'm interested into, type it to LinkedIn, look at some of the results that will come out, and then read the LinkedIn profile of those that came out. I used to do that a lot as I was seeking to transition in my career. Then conduct market research. That's the second thing I want you to learn how to do. Gain a deeper understanding of the problem you are trying to solve or who you are trying to solve it for. Now, how do you relate that to your career? Gain a deeper understanding. Going to LinkedIn will also help. Doing Google search. Go to Glassdoor. How much does a data scientist earn? Find out how much they earn. Do another Google search. What training do I need to become a world-class data scientist? Ask around on Twitter. Find conversations. That is your market research. Then you arm yourself with all the information you need to be successful in your endeavors. Number 3 is to build a strong team. For anyone building a company, you need to have the right team working with you. And if you are building a career, you also need to build the right team working for you and working with you. This could be your mentors. This could be your friends who are also thinking about, transitioning their career, or their steps ahead of you already. Number 4 is to develop a clear plan. So this is you, April 15, 2023. Develop a plan, 3 months plan, 6-month plan that says something like this. In the next 6 months, I am going to be this version of myself as a data scientist. Or maybe in the next 6 months, I'm going to be a world-class product manager. Or in the next 6 months, I would have launched my product. Someone was saying he's going into tech to make money. What's your 6-month plan, right? You document that somewhere, and you start asking yourself, how does Lab by Bincom help me to achieve that? Then what are the other things of life I need to do to achieve that? These are basic, lessons I want to share with you on this conversation. I will stop right there. If there are questions, Damilare will let me know how to proceed from here. So thank you everyone for, taking your time to listen, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the session. Thank you.
I know if there are questions, please, there will be room for just 2 questions. Just 2 questions for Mr. Ogunlade before he leaves us. So if you're interested in asking a question, please raise your hand. Raise your hand. Raise your hand. If you're interested in asking a question, quickly. Okay, Judge Daniel, first ask your question quickly. Make it short and straight to the point.
Okay. I would want to say thank you to Mr. Wale Ogunlade for that informational and impactful session. It's actually really interesting and for looking from your perspective. So I just want to quickly ask one question, and because you made mention of the health sector, and we're talking more about national problem because you made mention of the doctors, wanting not the government not wanting the medical doctors leaving the country. And is that not like a kind of a national problem which is pertaining particular to Nigeria? So now if you want to have like a product that can expand maybe into other clients, like in other countries. So how do you think we'll be able to expand a national or a local problem into an international sphere? Thank you.
Do I take this question or I wait for all the questions to be asked and answered at once?
Let's have the second person so you can just answer at once, sir. Any other question from anybody? One more slot left. It's going, gone. All right, you can answer the one question, sir.
Okay, great. Great question, Victor. The challenge I posed was basically hypothetical. And I should put it this way. All of us are not going to have the same passion driving us. So if you are one individual that looks at this problem space and thinks you want to fix it, then you now need to ask yourself, what is the scale of this problem? And when I solve it, how much value am I going to be able to generate? The truth today is that you have some problems or ideas that are only for the Nigerian market, and they are billion-dollar companies. So if you are into real estate, for example, the house you build are going to be occupied by anyone in Nigeria. But meanwhile, there are real estate billionaires today. Technically, what I'm telling you is that it's not all ideas that need to be cross-border. A lot of the products that Dangote is selling is focused on the Nigerian market. And that's still a whole lot, right? Meanwhile, you also want to combine your passion with the scale of the opportunity. And there are other ideas you can decide to focus on if your priority is to be able to build a business that is relevant both in the local market and in the international market. Now, a personal example is the digital bank I'm building. It's starting in the local market because we realize the need that just the same way you have different genres of music, you have Afrocentric, you have hip hop, we realize that when it comes to banking, a lot of the experiences we have with banking is split between just your traditional bank. Then we have Islamic bank. Today, we have a lot of digital bank, loans, and the rest. But we feel strongly that a segment of the market is still underserved, and we are taking our time to fix the friction in this market. A lot of what I'm doing today is not, it's just within Lagos. The opportunity I'm trying to fix today is just within Lagos. But I've also seen a clear path to how I will fix problems in Nigeria and problems outside Nigeria. So the premise of my own product can be global, but it is possible that the premise of your product is just local. but you still need to ask yourself, how can I derive a lot of value? Another example is, okay, so we've spoken about Paystack today. I mentioned Shola and Ezra. So Shola and Ezra are building businesses. Their businesses to Ghana, to South Africa, solving payment problem. But they started primarily in Nigeria. Same with Flutterwave. But there is another company called MoneyPoint. They used to be Team Apt. The problem they are solving is primarily in the Nigerian market. And they are processing as much transaction as the two other payment platforms, just solving problems in the local space. So you don't need to dismiss your idea if it is only serving the local market. What you do during your period of market research and survey is to really evaluate the scale of the problem and the opportunity that you will be able to create when you are able to, launch successfully to the market. And I feel strongly that I should also, answer this from the angle of somebody building a career. Somebody will say, so if I want to relocate out of this country, does the skill set that I'm building, can I use it outside the country? That's a decision you really need to think strongly about. But because this is technology, the beauty is that the skill set you have here might also be relevant anywhere. And your ability to adapt your skills to new markets is very important. But why not start here first and gain, like what we call a product market fit? You are sure your idea will work, then you take it into other market. Israel, I could see your hand is up. Do you want to say something? Is there a question?
Not actually a question, it's kind of you mentioned a career in AI, and then I'm kind of trying to know what kind of career, because it's is it front engineer? When you are explaining, when you are doing the presentation, you mentioned a career in AI. So I need to know more about it. That's why I raised my hand.
Oh, so I was researching on YouTube and I started to see something like prompt engineering. Prompt engineering, like when you give a prompt engineering. But that's not the only career opening up in AI. In fact, AI seems to be the next boom nowadays. ChatGPT, Midjourney, so many AI tools. So it's not just one career field you can choose. If you are interested in AI, as a sector, do more research on it, identify where your skill set can meet the demands and the opportunity in AI space. But prompt engineering is something you can Google more about for yourself. I think that's all the questions for now, Damilare.
Yes,
thank you for having me.
Much. Yes, sir. Thank you so much for taking our time to share your wealth of knowledge in terms of startup building. And we hope another day, if we call on you, you would create time for us, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, everyone, and bye for now. Cheers.
All right, sir. All right. Our time is fast spent. However, we'll still try and quickly conclude what we started earlier on. I hope we have all learned one or two things so far, right? I believe we have all learned one or two things. If you have learned something, just say hi.
Hi.
All right, great. All right. So we would moving into the second part of the breakout room, right? We'll be returning to our rooms now. So I'll be opening the room. I know we've done some introduction within ourselves. Now, the next part, which we'll be doing in 15 minutes, is to throw ideas around and come up with one idea you want to talk about as a team for your room. So you need one person to present the idea. So by 6 o'clock, we'll be back. And you should have at least one idea. Our time is fast spent. You might not be able to document the idea, but if you can't find, if not a problem, but you must come up with at least one idea you guys have agreed to talk to the team about. So you get one person to present the idea for your room. So each room would have a presenter. Is that clear? Did you all get that correctly? I'm hoping for your feedback. Did we get that? Do we understand?
Yes, please. But can I ask a question? Because in our own team, we were kind of discussing on exactly if we require like some time to be able to have a think through about the ideas before we can actually come together to brainstorm on the ideas. Then we come up with an idea that we may not be able to like, just this in a hurry to come up with a sellable idea, which is the time is kind of a little bit short, like for one to be able to think through an idea that
Okay.
would be actually
All right.
sellable.
Okay. All right. So the idea you guys will be coming up with now is not necessarily the idea you'll be building in labs that Bincom over the next 3 to 6 months. During the onboarding session, you would have meetings. Even after that, you would have team meetings to discuss ideas at length. However, we just want this to serve as a springboard for your mind to start creating ideas. Now, your idea does not need to be end to end. You don't need to have a complete idea, right, that can be sellable in the market even for now. We just want you to troubleshoot your brain, come up with different ideas. In fact, the idea you come up with now, right, even if you don't use it in your next in labs that Bincom over the long run, right? In fact, even if you could not completely get the whole idea for now, you can build on that idea later on as we move into labs by Bincom. Now, I want you to note something that you're in this is the preliminary session. Not everybody will move into the main session. That's stage 1. That's something that you need to realize. All right. So it is important. Now, this is just to juggle your brain, throw ideas around, come up with something that you feel is a problem that you feel you can solve, even if you don't have a solution to the problem yet, but you have an idea of, oh, this is a problem, and I think my room has a solution to this problem if we work towards it. Do you understand now?
Yeah, sure.
So we don't expect you to have everything figured out within the next 15 minutes. All right. So I'll be opening the rooms now. All right. So I expect you guys to start conversing. All right. Throw ideas around what you've seen from some of the things Mr. Ogulade has said. All right. Try ideas around, throw problems around, basically. Talk about the different problems, right? Then you can focus on a particular problem you feel is something you guys can solve, or think of an idea that can solve that problem. All right, thank you guys. Let me open the room now, and in 15 minutes on the dot, we will be back here. Israel, please join your group. Jackson, please join your group. Israel, Jackson, and Segobi. I've added you to your group. Please join. Jesus Christ of Nazareth. Hi, Rufus.
Sorry, am I late or has it finished?
Yeah, very late. I noticed you joined during the training session. I mean,
Yeah,
that was
I was here, but I lost connection.
yeah. So I'll just add you to a room now. Let me
Okay.
just add you to one. Right. Just please contribute in your room. Ask them what they are currently doing so that you can contribute.
Okay, thank you.
Sign room one. Jackson, please join your room. I don't know why you are still here. I don't know why Jackson is still here. Jackson, I don't know why you're here. I might be forced to kick you out. Jackson, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Jackson? Jackson, you're not responding now. We have to kick you out of this room. All right, guys. All right, guys. Can we all hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Yes.
Oh, great. All right. Yeah. So we are coming. We have come closer. We are coming closer to the end of this preliminary session of Labs by Bincom, April cohort. All right. And I know each groups already have something for us, either a problem statement or both problem statement and solution, all right, or different ideas you guys have discussed. All right. So can't wait to start listening to the different ideas, problem statements you guys have noted around you. Okay. So I'll be starting with room 2, then we move to room 1. But before room 2 starts, please get into the chat box, drop your email address. Everybody, drop your email address. Drop your email address. If you do not drop your email address, I'm sorry, your journey with Labs by Bincom would end here. Will not be able to reach out to you. So please drop your email address in the chat box, right? Start dropping it in the chat box, please. Very, very important. All right. So room 2, are you ready for us? Who's presenting from room 2? Room 2, we are ready for you if you are ready for us. Who is presenting from room 2, please? You have 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Who is presenting? I'm waiting.
Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, can you hear me? Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Victor. I'll be presenting for row 2. Okay, so basically, to come up with an idea, which is to an healthcare management product for diabetic patients. Basically, the idea is to help patients in that category to better manage their health care by providing recommendations for diet and exercise tracking. Oh, is it still breaking? Can you hear me now? Hello?
Yes, can any other person hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, all right, thank you. Oh, okay, so I'll just continue. What's it called? Give an insight into what problem the solution will be solving. So basically, as we know today, though we have doctors, we have hospitals available, but then the major challenge for people of such would be actually managing those, their health, was their illness without having to go to the hospital. So many people don't have access to healthcare systems in their vicinity, but then a product like this would actually go a long way to help them bridge the gap between helping them to know what they need to do part-time and bridging the gap between them and the distance between, it takes to get to an healthcare facility. So we would be providing them with facilities to the product or the platform or the solution would provide them with recommendations for medications or setting reminders on when next to take this sites on the exercises that can be taken along with this medication, providing them with a way to measure the rate at which they've grown in managing these issues, the illness. Also providing a link between them and health insurance companies, ability to book an appointment with a doctor who would just come to do something like an home service, them a monthly report on or daily report of activities on their how they've improved and
All right,
an
thank you.
integration with
Thank you, Victor. Thank you, Victor.
all right.
Thank you. Time is up. Time is up. All right, great idea, guys. That was a fantastic idea. I have a question, though. I expect another team member to answer that question, not Victor. So, my question is, how do you plan to make money with this idea? How do you plan to make money? I mean, you have a platform where people can reach out to doctors and all that. So,
Yeah.
how do you intend to make money from that? I want another team member to answer that question, not Victor. So which other room 2 team member is willing to answer that question? I can see Israel, I can see Simon.
Is it
Chidi.
just me? I can't hear anything.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay,
Yes, I
how
can.
Rufus
I
cannot
can
hear
hear.
us?
I can hear you now.
Okay, all right. So another team, room 2 member should answer that question. I'm waiting.
Okay, I'm Simon too. Room
Okay.
2. Okay. App or product per se. You can make money from this app. You can make money via bringing in probably when the person using it and needs a medical practitioner. We can leverage on that by probably in terms of can earn money if we can bring in a medical practitioner, like in times like we are bringing in patients for them, kinda like the person using the product. You get person using the product. In the case of using the product, needs more medical attention or medical diagnosis and all that. In the process of bringing in a medical practitioner, that way we can make money from our app. Like we are kind of helping them to come and sell their practice via
So
our
you are
app.
charging them, you have a charge. If you collect clients they get on your platform.
Yes, when the person now pays, we kind of had a commission or kind of something like that for using our platform to reach that patient. Kind of.
All right,
I think
all right.
that's one of the ways we can make money through the app.
All right, thank you for answering the question. Let's move to, thank you, room 2, for that fantastic idea. Thank you so much, room 2. So I want to quickly move to room 1. So room 1, what do you have for us? 3 minutes.
Okay, so I'll actually be presenting for our team 1. So
What
we're
is
able
your
to come up with, sorry,
Your name?
Daniel George.
Okay, great.
Okay, so we actually came up with 3 points, ideas, and I will just want to quickly run through them and the problem we're solving and how it can be commercialized. So the first point we mentioned about alternative to electricity, that's the power problem, and we are looking at having a sort of a database where we actually came up with 3 categories. Like we have the main national grid, we have through the solar system, or we also have through the generating system. So I don't know which one we'll be focusing on more, but from what we've been able to like discuss, we have like majorly talked about solar system, which is more environmental friendly. So where we're going to like commercialize it is to maybe probably have a database of solar engineers, which we can actually connect to any subscribers. Then we generate money from any services that is being or any project or deals that is being gotten from our platform. That will be that will come in form of a percentage of what kind of any revenue being generated from that project from the engineers or the solar engineers in a way. So that's the one point. Then the second point, I'm just trying to like fine tune it in my head because it was also mentioned by the second team as well, and which was also mentioned by the presenter. So It actually in the health sector as well, but I'm actually diverting away from the regular, the traditional, the orthodox medicine that we know. So now we're talking about how we're looking at the the alternative medicine using the natural way to cure and making use of the professionals who are licensed to actually do these parts of the deal. So we're going to have like a digital platform where we can connect people that will be interested in taking care of their health in the alternative ways without having to use the synthetic or the orthodox medicine. And the third one, we're talking about real estate. So it's an idea being born from the use of an agent to kind of eliminate the agents, you trying to interface with an agent. Instead, we'll be dealing directly with the landlords to the tenants. So the cost of using an agent will be the revenue being generated, but from having a digital platform where a tenant could actually go to and get a link directly to any apartment that they want to take. So by that, the money or the revenue that will go to the agents will be taken over by the platform that will be generated. So that is.
Okay, okay, fantastic idea. All right, so this question is directed to another member of the team, not to Judge Daniel, right? So did the team think about the target audience? What do you understand? What do you understand about your target audience for the first idea? That's I think the electric, the solar solution. So what do you understand about your target audience? Anybody, any other person from the team should answer the question. Adejumo, Jackson, Sopuruchi, Segobi.
Okay, can I go?
Yeah, sure, you can.
Okay, so for the problem stemming from the power industry in Nigeria, the target audience will be persons ranging from 18 years to about 65. This is because people that can purchase these things, I mean, are people that should be working and are earning money. We can't target our products at children because they wouldn't be able to purchase these services that would be offering. So we are offering them to adults that have their houses, they have their families, and would want to engage or want to purchase these services from us. So that's the bracket range of persons we are targeting for these products.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Rufus. That's very insightful. All right, just to add that for room one, not just for the sake of room one, but for everybody on the team, right? Also for your target audience, right? Also research on why they would need your products in the first place. What reservations do they have about your product? What other solutions are they considering aside from the solution you are preferring to that problem? Also consider the fact that what would motivate them to buy your product? All right, is it the price? Is it why would they join your platform to buy the product and all that? Please think of all these when you're coming up with your ideas in future so that they are all awesome. Now, like I said earlier on, right? Once you get to the onboarding stage of Labs by Bincom, all right. All right, so what are the next steps after this? The next step is the onboarding session, all right? Onboarding session happens next weekend, Saturday, same time, 4 p.m. Next week, Saturday, 22nd, 4 p.m. No, now that won't be 4 p.m., sorry. That won't be 4 p.m. That would be 2 p.m., yeah. 2 p.m., the onboarding session. More information about that will be communicated via email and on Slack. You will be added to a Slack channel. You've all dropped your emails. I think one person has not dropped. If you have not dropped your email, please drop your email now. Or else that is your journey with Labs ends here if you don't drop your email in the chat box. Okay, so once from the next step now is the fact that you'll be added to a Slack channel. That will happen during the week. You'll be added to a Slack channel, everybody, all right? And by before on or before Saturday, next week Saturday, you receive your emails in respect to the onboarding session. The details of that will be communicated via email to everybody. But the communication platform is Slack. Now, our Slack channel is a community of other techies. Once you are added, please reach out to other people, join conversations. We have a random channel, we have a job posting channel, we have a weekly drill channel, we have a quiz games channel, all right, where you can win prizes and gifts also by answering questions and all that. So we have a community of techies. We have a community where you can network with other techies like yourself, get to know people, get to meet people, and a lot of people get jobs on our platform. So please don't be all locked up on your team channel or on your cohort channel on Slack. A lot of other things are going on Slack. You'll be added to Slack, not to worry, we have your emails. All right, that will be the next step. Then after that, the onboarding session will be communicated via email. I can see 2 hands up for a question. All right, Judge Daniel, please go first.
Okay, my own question is, what form is the onboarding going to be? Is it just we fill in some forms and reading some instructions, or is it going to be like a virtual interview for the meeting? And is it going to be individual or is it going to be team? And my second question is, to excuse myself for the timing, won't be convenient for me, 2 o'clock, or 4 o'clock will be fine, but I don't know if that can be like a little bit flexibility in there. I don't know.
All right, for the timing, we'll get back to you, all right, if it will be changed or not, but for now, it is 2 p.m. All right, now for your first question. It will be a group meeting like this. The onboarding session will be grouped. Now the program will be broken down in details. Your mentors will also be on the call. It will be part of the onboarding session and all that. All right, you'll be able to ask your questions about the program in details, and will be able to do a deep dive into what Labs by Bincom entails as a whole. And also, you'll be meeting your final team members during the onboarding session. Your final team members. Note, room 1 and room 2, this is not your final team member, right? Your other roommates are not your final team members. All right, I just wanted to clear that. I saw somebody else raise their hand. I don't know if I was able to answer your question, Judge Daniel.
Yes, you've been able to answer one, then left with the other one.
Which one is that?
The time in which you said you're going to come back.
Okay, yeah. But for now, it's 2 p.m. It's 2 p.m. But if it were to be changed to be communicated via email, details of that will be communicated.
Okay.
All right. Rufus, I think somebody else was raising his or her hand.
No, my hand.
All right. Any other question? Please drop your email. If you have not dropped your email, you are wrong. We won't be able to reach out to you for the next stage. So please drop your email.
Hi, I have a quick question.
All right, ask your question.
Yeah, I have someone that is supposed to be on this call, but for some reason is not able to join. Do you still have any room for someone that is not on this call to still be on the call as plan? Or someone can drop the email?
All right, so there are 2 solutions to that, right? First solution is the person would have to join the next cohort. All right. Now, the second solution to that is, depending on the skill set of the person and depending on the need of the team, if along the line, your final team needs that skill set, the skill set this person you're talking about has, the person can always join your team with the agreement of other team members, not just you. Do you understand?
Okay.
Yeah.
The back end is paper, so I just want to figure that out.
Yeah, but for now, the cohort is closed, right? For now, the cohort is closed. Now, depending on the need of the team, we can then bring in an external person. Details of this will be discussed during the onboarding session. But for now, the cohort is closed.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you so much. All right, I believe all questions have been answered for now. All right, thank you so much, guys, for making yourself available for this preliminary session. It has been a great time with everybody here. Great minds, great ideas. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys during the onboarding session. All right, see you guys on Slack.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you.